Salesforce stock is up over 25% year to date in 2024. It's been recommended, it's been rated as one of my top stocks to buy this year, and it's performed relatively well. It hasn't done great, but it's beat the S&P 500 index and others. And so investors are now thinking about Salesforce stock as a potential candidate for 2025. So where will the stock price be by the end of 2025? Of course, no one knows what's going to happen in the future, but I can make my best guess using the numbers available at my disposal. That's what I'll do in this video. I'll use several estimates and assumptions to make my stock price prediction for Salesforce by the end of 2025. Of course, I'll share with you precisely where I'm getting all these numbers from and any adjustments I'm making so that you can see for yourself the numbers that I'm using and determine if they're too high, too low, right on point, whatever you might think, you'll see precisely where I'm getting the numbers from. So let's take a look at Salesforce and where it could end up by the end of next year.
Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video. Moomoo is a trading platform where you can buy and sell stocks and other investments. I use the platform for investing myself. If you join using the link in my description, you can get up to 15 free stocks.
So one of the numbers I'm going to need to make this stock price prediction for Salesforce for 2025 is the forward price to earnings ratio. As of this recording, it stands at 29.5. I also need the company's earnings per share estimate for its fiscal year 2027, its fiscal year that ends on January 31st, 2027. Salesforce is one of those companies that uses a fiscal year that's different than the calendar year. And so to make my price prediction, I need to get Salesforce's fiscal year 2027 numbers because that's for the calendar year 2026. I know it's annoying, I know it's confusing, but companies are allowed to do this to have a fiscal year that's different than the calendar year. It throws things off and it forces us to make adjustments to put things on a like-for-like basis. But that's just what we have to do here. So that number for Salesforce here on a GAAP basis, $8.49. I'll zoom in here so you can see it more clearly. $8.49 GAAP EPS expected. And this is from 15 analysts that are following Salesforce stock. They report their earnings per share estimate, and this is a collection of those estimates to get the average among those 15 analysts that are following Salesforce stock. So some analysts might think it's going to do better, some might think it's going to do worse. This is the average among those 15. All right, so now that we have the numbers that we need to make our estimate, we can jump into my model here. And what I have here on the top left-hand side is the EPS expected for 2026. $8.49, and the forward price to earnings of 29.5 here. If we apply a forward PE multiple of 29.5 to the expected EPS of $8.49, we get a price per share for Salesforce stock by the end of next year of $250. Now, its current market price is $330. So that would mean that the stock price would actually decrease next year if things go according to expectations. Now, if the forward PE increases to 32, the stock price could be $271 per share, which would still be below the current market price. Now, if the forward PE rises to 35, the stock price could rise to $297 per share. However, if things worsen and the forward PE were to fall to 25, then the stock price could fall to $212 per share. So in all of the scenarios I have here, Salesforce stock price looks like it's going to be lower in 2025 by the end of 2025. However, I will caution investors that this is just one way of making a valuation estimate for a company. There are several other ways to value a stock, and this is just one of those estimates. If I was relying on just this estimate, I wouldn't rate Salesforce stock as a buy, but the comprehensive analysis I've done still has me rating Salesforce stock as a buy, even though this one particular way of valuing Salesforce stock suggests that it could be overvalued. Nevertheless, we are doing this valuation right now in this video, so let's stay on topic to this one here. Now, Based on all of these scenarios and based on what I know about Salesforce stock, I expect its forward price to earnings will rise next year. And the magnitude of the increase remains a question mark, but I suspect it will rise closer to 35, forward PE of 35, somewhere between a forward PE of 32 and 35. So, based on these estimates, where do I think the stock price ends up next year? Well, according to these estimates, I would say a range of $280 to $300 per share is where I think Salesforce ends up using this valuation method. Now, I will incorporate this valuation method along with all of my other valuation methods to come up with my rating of Salesforce stock, whether I think it's a buy, hold, or a sell. That will include this piece of analysis along with others to come up with that comprehensive rating or recommendation. Of course, if you want access to all of these spreadsheets where I have these stock price targets, estimates, discounted cash flow valuations, and my buy, hold, and sell recommendations for over 100 stocks, you can get that with the channel membership in the investor tier. Of course, this is all for entertainment and informational purposes only. Do your own due diligence before deciding on investing in any of the stocks I discuss here.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock, and this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.